Okay, so Mehdi, we've had a pretty big week in crypto. We've had the market reaction to the ETH ETF, which hasn't really been that great so far. And then we've got Trump announcing that he's going to be at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville and hinting at a strategic reserve of Bitcoin, which is pretty big. I think a lot of people are wondering, what do these things mean for the market? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we definitely had a flop on the Ethereum ETF, it seems. Like when you look at it, just after the announcement of the ETF, it decreased by 10%. And so that's a pretty strong move in terms of like selling the news. It is due maybe to the fact that Ethereum Foundation actually sold 100 Bitcoin, 100 Ethereums right before the spot ETF. So that didn't get us into the best setup in the market, but also remember like when it's July and like there's less activity on the market, so because of that less activity, there was probably a very small amount of interest into this ETF. But I think also like one of the most fundamental questions that investors are asking is with regards to the fact that there is no yield on Ethereum on the ETF. Whereas like usually on Bitcoin, it's very hard to get any yield above 1 or 2%. Although on Exponential, you can find up to 4 or 5%. It's quite difficult to get yield on Bitcoin. On Ethereum, like staking is at a basic 3 or 4%. And so you cannot get that on the ETFs. And so people are basically considering that there is like almost an opportunity cost of like 400 basis points every year that they are paying. And so even if you look at like the fact that the fees are pretty low, around 25 basis points, you should probably consider adding 300 basis points on top of this in terms of the expense ratio.
Yeah, especially if you're holding long term as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And I think like most people are considering holding this at least for a year. And so yeah, there is an issue with these Ethereum ETFs that we didn't see with Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also like a good foundation for a future bull market. When you think about it, if you step back, right now we have like Ethereum that increased from like basically $2,000 to $3,000, so at least a plus 50% increase over the past year, which is not bad. It's just like pretty strong. And if you compare this to like 4 years ago on the like globally, if you look at the global market cap of crypto, it doubled over the past year, which is like pretty strong. And so it's a good setup. We're not into a situation where we're going to say, hey, there's no pump, we're unhappy. We're like crypto has been doing like getting like a lot of traction over the past year with both ETFs and with everything that's happening with legislation in the US. And so, like, even if we didn't have a pump for the Ethereum ETF, I think there's no worries there. If you look at the cycle, I always like to look at like the cycle over 4 years because like crypto very much follows the cycle of like Bitcoin with its key event, which is like the halving. And if you look at the halving last year, like last cycle in 2020, between over the year before the halving, which happened around May 2020, we were flat.
Yeah.
This year we are plus 50% on Ethereum. We are doubled on the global market cap. So it's not that bad. It's also like a good setup when you think of it for a healthy bull market afterwards. And so all of these things, to me, I think like over the next year, if there is a bull market, this crypto market cap could very well reach $5 trillion, and it's important to be set up well for that. Obviously, my setup is mostly sitting, earning yield on Ethereum and Bitcoin on exponential, and being happy whatever happens. Like if it goes down or if it stays flat, I'm earning my yield. If it goes up, I'm happy.
Yeah, and it's just being patient, isn't it?
Yeah, as an investor, it's always about being patient, and being patient when it's not doing anything is actually one of the key ways to be successful as an investor. The next thing I think you wanted to discuss was about Trump getting to the Bitcoin conference, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Yeah, it's definitely big. It shows how important we have become as voters. With who the crypto voters are now important because they vote as a block, and it seems like right now we have someone who finally hears us saying that we want legislation that is good for Bitcoin and good for crypto, and that makes sense. And so that's a great thing. The other big news, I don't know if you have seen this, but Senator Loomis from Wyoming is planning to announce a law to make Bitcoin a national reserve. And so that's a very, very big deal, because that's definitely recognizing Bitcoin as a digital gold or a store of value.
Yeah.
But this is also if you think of it a first step towards using Bitcoin as a reserve currency.
Yeah.
And so if it becomes a reserve currency one day, you would have to start with accumulating, and this is the US thinking of accumulating Bitcoin. It's a really big deal because it's also the nation with the biggest economy and the global reserve currency today, and so which is the dollar. And so they are planning on, or at least there is a portion of the Senate and the U.S. legislators and the executive branch that are thinking of Bitcoin as something that needs to be bought into, and so that's really bullish for the next cycle for sure.
Yeah, they're kind of hedging their bets a bit, because you see I think China thinking of banning Bitcoin potentially, there's rumors of that, and then people are going away from having the USD as their currency and stuff, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, and this is actually going exactly the opposite direction from Germany selling their Bitcoins. And this is just saying, okay, you sold them, we may buy them as the US. It's cool, and we also wanted to take advantage of this Bitcoin conference and this big news around Bitcoin to announce something big for Bitcoiners at Exponential. So the big thing that we want to announce is that you can now fund with Bitcoin and invest in BTC pools without even having to pay any conversion fees between BTC and WBTC. WBTC is the form of Bitcoin that is mostly used in DeFi today. And so we are basically taking care of that. We really try to simplify the experience, as you know, and so we decided that we would treat BTC and WBTC the same and exchange them one for one at any time. So Bitcoin is basically getting really ready for DeFi and super easy. And we're also doing that because we see that there is more and more demand for Bitcoin yield, but also we are seeing new sources of yield coming in with a lot of Bitcoin layer 2s, which are blockchains built on top of Bitcoin that are allowing smart contracts and more contracts and a bigger ecosystem for DeFi on top of Bitcoin, which is really, really amazing.
Yeah. Do we have it on the website now?
So yes, I can show that to you. Here it is. You can see I have placed 3 BTC on my wallet. I could fund both as Bitcoin or as WBTC, which is like a form of Bitcoin on Ethereum. And it gives me like my wallet address and on both types of blockchains. And so once I have these, I can go and decide to invest with my Bitcoins in a few clicks. And I can place like, for example, 20%, 25%, just invest, place the order, and it's done. I don't have to do anything else.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that's not all, actually. We also are launching a promo for Bitcoiners who want to bring their BTC on Exponential. And so that's something that's pretty big, because it's right now we're starting with a reward yield of 3% on top of like the 4 or 5% that you may make on this like across bridging. You can also 4.7. You can also get on top of it 3%. And so obviously there are specific terms, and this is limited to the people who are going to come early on this. But we wanted to celebrate this BTC funding announcement and all the big news around Bitcoin this week.